Hello, I am Super Orange Cat, and I'm back at it again with another random anime review. This time I watched the anime Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon? And I watched the first season of it, and I watched the dub of it. So, I believe this is 2 or 3 years old, this anime. Some people had believed not too long ago that it would maybe someday make it to Toonami. And it's got some of those characteristics in there. I mean, it's very shonen. I'll say very shonen inspired, especially with Belle Cornell, the main character's plot of wanting to become a stronger and stronger adventurer. At the same time, if you're really thinking more recently of shows something like Food Wars or Fire Force that have a degree of ecchi in it, the show has a bit of ecchi as well. So it wouldn't be a bad fit for the block if maybe by some miracle it does end up on the block someday. And another reason for those rumors is because of the fact that I believe it has aired, I'm not sure. There is a season 2 of this that I've not seen yet. So please don't spoil any of that in the comment section. So here we go, just the basic, most rudimentary plot of it, right? Belle Cornell, he's an adventurer, wants to get stronger. He ends up in a scenario where he gets attacked by a minotaur, and a female adventurer named Lady Wolfenstein, I believe I pronounced that right, saves him. He panics, he falls in love with her at the same time, and he just kind of feels bad that she's has to save him. It's like, I'm an adventurer, I should be able to protect myself. And that kind of becomes a background plot link of him feeling weak, and in a weird way, Wolfenstein being kind of the person that helps him with that the most, because they eventually do personal training for each other, which end up being vital in him overcoming his fear of minotaurs and killing one later on in the season. And overall, and then there's just this whole plot line of, yeah, there's these guilds called familias, which really work in ways like guilds. Like you have the guild that's focused on sword making, and the head of the guild or the goddess or god of the familia is an actual god or goddess. Like for example, the one pictured here next to the main character Belle Cornell is Hestia, which is his personal goddess of the familia. However, they're kind of like the loser familia because they're the only two members of it at this point. And also, like for example, there's the Soma familia, which worships wine, which Lilyruka Artie, who becomes part of Belle's group later on in the show, is a member of, and stuff like that too, like the general gist of it and how it's very structured. The society is structured based on who is your familia, who's your god or goddess, so on and so forth, right? So kind of like the caste system in India in a way, based on that. And also, it's just like the general plot of he wants to get stronger. He meets people along the way. He generally makes them their friends, and they have to all go together and defeat this giant monster at the very end of the season. So, like I said, in many ways, it's basic shonen stuff right there. I just summed up the season for you in like a sentence or two. And also, I'll start going into stuff I really, really loved about this anime. I just love how the shonen and ecchi balance each other out. Like, it doesn't get too dragged in either direction, which is good because I like it when it's balanced that way. Like, I'm happy it doesn't get as shonen oriented as something maybe like Naruto goes into, but at the same time, it doesn't go full ecchi like Food Wars does or something definitely like Monster Monsume. Oh my god, I tried watching that anime. I actually planned, I'm going to go on a bit of a detour here. I actually at one point planned to do a review of Musume. Couldn't make it past the first episode. I was too uncomfortable watching it. So don't look for an anime review of that show in the near future at all. But yeah, and it balances each other out. It's engaging plot wise, and it's about more than the main character. Like for example, I mentioned Liruka Arda, can't pronounce her name right. She's this becomes his supporter, Belle's supporter later in the season, but she has this plot line where she's been abused by adventurers all of her life. So she takes it on Belle because he's an adventurer, but her learning that, hey, some adventures are nice and this guy really does care about me and didn't care that I was really trying to take advantage of him the whole time. And that becomes this interesting plot with her. And also, I kind of like the whole kind of a plot line with the whole how the gods and goddesses interact with each other, with the whole Hestia kind of being like the loser younger sister, Loki being the braggart, spoiled rich girl, and Freya, at least at the beginning, seeming to be like the calm, cool head. But we kind of learn later on the season that she's most likely the bad guy and she wants Belle for some very undisclosed reason, which I find to be interesting. And I hope that's something that gets continued on in the second season. And I also like Hermes too, him kind of being like the the trickster asshole with him tricking Belle into looking at all the girls in the Springs naked. It's like it's hard to hate a trickster character like that too. And there's also the whole, oh man, why am I forgetting her name? The green-haired barmaid who mentioned to Belle that, oh yeah, I used to be adventurer, and like she gives him a lot of good advice about going on adventures and stuff. And towards later on the season, she does confess to him the reason why she stopped being an adventurer. And I found it was a pretty interesting connection there of all the characters for her to trust. She trusts this guy more than anyone else. Like she gives him information she probably never told any of her people working for her. Even the people working for that showed that they had a close connection to her too. I found that very interesting. And that's gonna kind of go into my next point about this that I honestly didn't necessarily love. There are moments in the show that it definitely feels like it's a harem anime. Like for example, Hestia from day one is in love with Belle, and she makes this very, very clear. Although at times Belle is dense enough that he's a bit aloof to it. At the same time, you have this whole thing where at least she sees Lady Wolfenstein as a threat, even if Belle thinks like, oh, I can never get her, but like she's kind of like this fun sparring rival. And Hestia's like, no, don't take my man. This is my man. And then later on in the season, oh, let's talk, and then also in the season, kind of creepy how Hestia kind of established herself as dominant in front of Lily Ruka when Lily Ruka first became the supporter of Belle. And then Lily Ruka, I guess, to keep her standing, also showed like, oh yeah, this is my man too. So you back off because he's actually my man. It's kind of creepy, especially considering Lily Ruka's probably only like 12 or something. Like I didn't check the real age, but she cannot be more than like 16, you know. But again, at the same time, that doesn't become the show. It's not like the end of something like In Another World for My Smartphone, where at the last 2, 3 episodes are almost focused entirely on the harem aspect of the show, because it still keeps this adventure build and it still keeps this whole take everything that you learned and fight this giant monster and inspire everyone around you to fight as well, which I thought was very good. It was a bit cliche, but I just loved how the show put it all together. In general, this was a very good show. I hope to see season 2 someday. And this might be my favorite of the shows I reviewed under this series. It's a close one between this one and Watamote, my opinion. The next anime I'm gonna watch, I'm not gonna make it a guessing game here. I'm watching The Devil as a Part Timer. And currently I'm liking it so far, and there will definitely be a review of that in the short term future. So look forward to that. And hopefully later today I'll also post the Toonami ratings for I believe it was the 7th of September. So also keep looking forward to that too. I appreciate your guys' support. If you like this video, if you want me to keep doing these anime reviews on and on and on, please like this video, please subscribe, and of course hit that notification button. I am Super Orange Cat, and that is all.